Hey, everybody. This is John, and Wendy and I wanted to make a quick entrance to this episode with Osasu. We are really excited to announce that not only are we going to be at SHRM 19 as part of the Blog Squad, but we are also going to be the keynote speakers for the Emerging Professionals event on the Sunday morning session.
That's right. They have a, quote, Super Sunday session for emerging professionals and students who are attending the SHRM National Conference. And we would be so excited to see you there. We have some time to talk a little bit about us, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we will be able to make an actual podcast happen live on stage.
I think there's several different things that are going to be going on while they're there, Wendy, but I'm excited that we are going to be talking about how to help you create a better career in HR, to learn from our experiences and finding your voice, which I think you and I can agree. We've been doing this an awful long time, and maybe we found our voice. Things have changed. Times have changed. And so a lot more options and opportunities out there for people. But again, we were just absolutely thrilled when we were asked to take part in this event. Really, really excited to be able to talk to those students, advisors, and faculty members and young professionals that are just getting their start, or helping those that are getting their start to be part in. Like you said, not only are we going to be speaking, there's going to be networking going on, which obviously is really, really important to us, but also there's conference orientation. So for those that have never attended SHRM National, which is a big event, it can be a little overwhelming. It's a great place to get settled, to meet some new people. You can meet us, and hey, you may even show up on the podcast.
Yeah, if you're interested, please email us. We'll put some information into the newsletter as well on how to connect with us to get signed up. If nothing else, sign up for the newsletter and learn a little bit more about where we'll be Sunday morning.
And again, email us at hrsocialrpodcast@gmail.com. If you send us a note, we can get you a link to get more information. Again, this is only for people that are attending SHRM National. So if you're in the Vegas area but not coming to conference, thanks, but we'd love to see you, but can't do it there. Again, if you are really looking for these emerging professionals and the folks that work with them, those of you that have asked, because some of you knew we were doing this, have asked us, how can you attend? There's going to be a recording. If you don't fit into that category, we can't wait to see you. We won't see you Sunday morning, but we will make sure that there's a way to find out. And you can always just talk to us and, hey, we'll tell you all about it. Right?
Exactly.
So again, if you're going to be attending the first time, definitely consider coming out and spending some time with us that morning. Otherwise, on with the show. Hello, and welcome back once again to the HR Social Hour Half Hour Podcast. This is episode 65. John and Wendy talk to Osasu Arigbe. I'm your host, John.
And I'm Wendy. How's it going, John?
I'm well. Feel like we hadn't talked for quite a long time, and all of a sudden we're, peeling the curtain back. We're recording a couple shows back to back, dealing with our technology issues. Here we are.
Here we are. And, last week we talked about South Dakota SHRM, because this is all we're doing this month. There's just travel, conference. But you also have another conference coming up this month.
I do. I'm very excited to announce that I'm going to be speaking at DC SHRM.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I got to go last year. Last year, Nicole Boleno, the president of DC SHRM, was kind enough to invite me to come up and hang out, and I had a great time. Met some really great people. And this year, I contacted Nicole about doing another show, and she said, hey, would you want to come talk? I said, why not? Absolutely. I'm going to be talking about social recruiting. Really excited about that. Some really great keynotes to really talking about kind of the future of HR in this conversation. So a lot of talk about AI and what have you. Again, when I attended last year, I heard some phenomenal speakers. Look forward to hearing more folks of that caliber again this year. DC SHRM's conference is May 22nd. In the show notes, I'll put some information about DC SHRM. If you're in the area and you listen to this, come find me afterwards and say hi. I'm sure I will be talking about the podcast at some point, or, never know. I may be recording while we're there. Just never know. I am, again, really excited and appreciate Nicole and her team having me take part. And I will, just like we'll get a debrief about South Dakota SHRM, I'll give you all a debrief on DC SHRM sometime very soon.
That sounds great. And I look forward to hearing about it.
Well, enough talk about conferences, because we do that a lot, which is not a bad thing. It's an exciting thing.
It is.
I have to say, though, I'm excited about our guest and the fact that we'll get an opportunity to actually meet her at the conference this summer in Vegas at SHRM National. Yeah, another plug for DC there.
There you go.
At SHRM National in June. I have not had a chance to speak to this young lady before. You did, Wendy, and I think the conversation went really well, and said, hey, let's get her on, because it's kind of somebody really new to us that we were really excited about. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let you make the introduction. We'll get started.
Yes, so excited to welcome Osasu to the show tonight. I got a chance to chat with her a couple weeks ago, and we love meeting new folks and introducing them to all of our listeners. She is an HR professional based in Washington, D.C. Currently, she works with a nonprofit organization as an HR associate. She graduated with a bachelor's in business administration from the American University of Nigeria and a master's degree in human resource management, the concentration in strategic human capital management from Georgetown University. Osasu is a member of SHRM and has been involved with SHRM since 2015 as secretary in the student chapter of her school, and since 2016 as a part of the Northern Virginia SHRM. She also blogs for SHRM. Oasu's passion for helping people, addressing business challenges, and making a positive impact in organizations has kept her dedicated to the HR profession. So welcome to the show tonight. Our first question is, what's in your glass?
Thanks, Wendy. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here tonight, and thank you for inviting me to your podcast. I just have a glass of water. That's it.
Hey, water works. That's in my glass.
There is nothing wrong with water.
Yep.
Right.
Osasu, as I mentioned, really appreciate you taking time to join us, and started seeing your name out there in the last couple months. Again, since we've never really had a chance to talk, I don't know anything about your background. Tell us a little bit how you got your start in human resources.
I like to say that I walked into HR. I mean, I chose to do HR, and during my bachelor's in business administration, I concentrated in accounting. But you know how a BA program is structured. You take classes in all aspects of business. That's like marketing, financial management, entrepreneurship, everything. Then I realized that I always looked forward to my management courses, especially after I discovered the chapter on human resource management. I guess it's because it had to do with issues that I could relate to. So this was around my junior year. And at that time, I really couldn't change my concentration. It was too late to do that. So I ended up graduating as an accountant. But while I worked in accounting, I looked for opportunities to do HR. I got lucky and I was allowed to assist in the HR department of the organization I worked with. Specifically, I was doing employee relations and some training, a little bit of some training. And I loved it. I really loved it. And so when I decided to do my master's degree, I chose to specialize in human resource management, and here I am.
I love that you said walked in. I haven't heard that one yet. We talk a lot about falling. I'm one of those that fell. I mean, other people say they don't believe in falling. I like walk. I think
like that. I like
that a lot.
It's a little bit more deliberate, but not the full choice. You walked into it, but maybe hesitantly. No. We do have to say congratulations, because you recently posted on Twitter that you passed your PHR, which that is just phenomenal.
Thank you.
I remember taking that test, very vividly remember taking that test, and I never want to do it again. What made you decide to get your PHR, and why do you feel certification is important to HR professionals?
I got certified because I needed to expand my HR knowledge and prove my long-term commitment to the profession. And I also believe that certification has many benefits to it. You know, it shows that you've invested in yourself, you're qualified, and you've met the standards of education and experience. It helps you to stay current with all of the technologies and regulations in the HR space. It also shows your current and future employers that your value and you need to be treated accordingly. I mean, the money part is also there. So we might as well own it. So yes, that's why I took the PHR, and that's why I think it's also important for HR professionals to get certified.
Osasu, you're a bit of a Twitter newbie. I think that's where I first saw your name, and I think I've seen it in the last few months, maybe in the last year or so. What made you decide to join Twitter, and what's that experience been like for you so far?
I realized that I was always the last to hear about stuff going on in the world. So, so you'll notice I joined in June last year, and that was just a few weeks before the SHRM 18 conference. I joined because I knew I was going to be at the conference, and I really wanted to be among the first people to know everything that was going on. So while I was having fun tweeting about my experience, I got to interact with other people using the SHRM 18 hashtag, and we got connected, and it's been a great experience ever since. So the simple answer to that question is it all started because of SHRM 18.
Hey, that's a good way to start. I know I've encouraged a lot of people that I've met at the national conference to get onto Twitter, and had a couple of them at a couple of our chats. So happy that you found us, and happy that you are, you jumped into Twitter, and now you're kind of diving into the deep end as well, because you're going to be on the blog squad for the conference. So how did you get started blogging with SHRM? And do you have any plans to start your own blog?
It's quite interesting how blogging started for me, in general, or with SHRM actually, because that's where I blog. Sometime last year, I do recall that I participated in one of the episodes of SHRM's Next Chat, where we discussed finding your voice as an HR professional. So that conversation went really well. And a few days after that, I got a message from SHRM asking me if I would be interested in contributing to their blog. That was shout out to Mary Kayla. So when I got that message, I just felt like someone had literally read my mind and known that I was interested in blogging. Of course, I accepted the opportunity, and that's how I started blogging with SHRM, and it's been really great. It's great exposure for me. It's a platform, and I've really been able to own my voice as an HR professional, and it's just awesome. About starting my blog, that's a goal for this year, actually. I'm currently doing my research. I'm reaching out to other bloggers for advice, and I'm working on getting it started soon. So sometime in the next few months, awesome. I should get that running, and I'll let you know when.
Definitely do. We'd love to help promote that for you. Always love to see new bloggers in the sphere, for sure. It is now time for everyone's favorite part of our show, the half-hour question connection. Who was your first professional mentor, and what was the most important or impactful thing you learned from them?
My first professional mentor is my dad. I'm sure that's not what you're expecting to hear, but the truth is, he is my first professional mentor, and I learned most of my work ethic from him. I got most of my skills from him. He taught me how to pay attention to details, how to use Microsoft Office, how to communicate via email, like all of those basic things to get into the workforce. I learned all of those from him. So by the time I joined the workforce, I didn't feel anxious, and there was no pressure on my end, and no one also had to hold my hands on any of those things when I started working. So I like to think of him as that first professional mentor. I've had great mentors along the way, but yeah, here's the first one.
Osasu, who's one person you've gained in your network in the last year that you think more people should know?
I think it's difficult to name one person. I have a few of them, but I would say Steve Brown. Steve Brown, because I love his message of positivity, of connectedness, of, just being a positive person in general. I love the message he shares, and I think he's someone everyone should follow or should get to know. But if I were to add more people, I would say Paula Harvey and Michelle Kohlhoff and Dr. Peacock. They're all great people.
All great folks, for sure. Love them all. I know you're still new into your career, but if you could go back to the very start of your career, what's one piece of advice you would give to yourself based on what you know now?
Saying that I changed from accounting to HR, I would say assess your strengths find what you're passionate about and develop it. That's what I'll tell myself. And I'll also add this quote that I have there's this quote I have on my desk by Albert Schweitzer, which says, "Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you're doing, you will be successful." So yeah, that's what I'll tell my younger self.
How do you enjoy giving back to the HR community, Osasu?
John, I think we give back in different ways. I like to think that what I'm doing with SHRM, contributing to the blog, is my way of giving back at the moment, because that's also something I enjoy doing. But I'm also planning to get more involved with my local chapter and possibly the SHRM Foundation sometime this year. So we'll see how that goes.
What's your favorite movie?
This is a bit old school, but I'll own it. It's Sound of Music.
I think we've had that. I think someone else had that as a favorite. We'll have to dig back in the recesses. But
I think it was Michelle. Wasn't it?
Oh, really?
I think. Or maybe she was Seven Brothers too. I can't remember. It was a musical. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah. That's it.
That's a good one.
How about a favorite musician or band?
I love different kinds of music, but if I were to pick one right now, I would choose Ed Sheeran.
Nice. How about a favorite TV show?
Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh, Ellen's show is awesome.
Yeah, she's very kind. She also preaches the message of being kind to people, and that too. That's something I like, and I've gotten hooked on since I was a child. So yeah.
I love that you talk about how kind she is, and one of our favorite things to do when we can't find anything to watch on TV is to look up videos of Ellen scaring her guests.
Yes, I love those.
So she's so kind that she scares them, and yeah.
But she's also funny too.
She is.
So I think that's what it is for her. But yeah, she's really great.
Osasu, I'm always trying to find connection, and I swear I think it was Michelle. Somebody has talked about Sound of Music. I don't know if I told the story at the time. My connection to the Sound of Music was when I was in elementary school. I was in a production of the Sound of Music.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was not one of the children. I think I was an extra. I may have been a rock. I'm not really sure. That was many, 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 too many years ago to remember for sure.
Yeah.
I know I was in it, and I wasn't a nun, and I wasn't a kid. So I don't think I was one of the bad guys. I just don't remember, but I remember that we sang Edelweiss. It's a wonderful show.
Yeah.
I just, again, way too long ago to recall exactly. Having said that,
yeah.
If you're not watching Sound of Music or listening to Ed Sheeran or watching Ellen, what else do you like to do outside of work?
I love to travel and gain new experiences. That's fun for me. That's also like learning or educational for me. I like that. And I also love to read books. Whenever I get that time to read, I use it. So yeah, I love to read.
Oh,
anything in particular, or just not HR? I hope, right? Like other books, or
no. It's just other books. Most times I do memoirs and biographies. I just look, because the thing about celebrities is it makes me see the human side of them when I read their books. So I'm not just saying that celeb in the news. I'm saying someone I can relate to. So I love to read biographies.
If you were not in HR, we know you wouldn't be an accountant, but what do you think you would be doing professionally?
I have a few options. I would go with being a columnist, and that's because I like writing, and it's something I did as a child briefly. I would also probably be on TV doing travel documentary.
Nice.
Or just be a photographer, and yeah, that's it.
So wait, you were a columnist as a kid?
Yes, I was a child contributor to a newspaper.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so awesome.
Yes.
What did you write about? Just being a kid?
Like kid stories, yeah. So I used to do like reviews on books that I read, or just kid stories, just make up kid stories. And I had a neighbor that was working with a newspaper at the time, and so she used to collect all of my stories and get them published.
So I guess the big question is, do you still have all those? Do you have a book of?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, no.
It's so painful. Yes, I know.
Because I'm assuming this was pre-internet.
Yeah, of course. This is pre-internet. Yes. And, with a couple of moves from, one house to another, from one state to another, you get to lose some of these things. So, yeah, that's what happened.
I'm sorry those are lost to the ages. I am glad, though, that you're not working in photography or travel. You never know. Things change down the road. We're glad you're in HR, though, right. Now that we had a chance to connect. And again, I'm glad you're part of our community now and taking part and giving back in the ways you are. I really appreciate you taking time to talk to us tonight. Knowing that there are going to be listeners that maybe aren't familiar with you, Osasu, what's the best way for them to find you out there online?
Yeah, they can find me on Twitter and LinkedIn. On Twitter, I am Osasu Arigbe, so my first name and my last name. And on LinkedIn, I am Osasu F. Arigbe. So first name, last name.
We will have both those in the show notes. Wendy, how about you? What's the best way for the listeners to find you out there?
Best way is always on my blog, mydailyjourney.com. Daily is D as in dog, AILEY. And the fourth Sunday of each month, you will always find me on Twitter at 7 p.m. Eastern Time as part of our monthly HR Social Hour Twitter chat. How about you, John?
If you go to hrsocialhourpodcast.podbean.com, left-hand side of the screen at the top, 3 little lines, click there. I'll open up and show all the connections to my social accounts. And while you're there, if you've listened to this episode, maybe there's a previous show that you haven't heard, or maybe one you want to hear again, download, share, rate, review. Anything you can help us do to boost our signal, we always appreciate. We continue to see growth. We continue to see new listeners, new countries. It's a very, very exciting thing for us, and we have all of you to thank as we continue to grow the social hour. So again, Osasu, really appreciate you being with us tonight. And so for the HR Social Hour Half Hour Podcast, I'm John.
And I'm Wendy. And as always, be sure to connect,
give back, and network. Take care, everybody.
We'll see you soon.